Hello, this is Artsy Wisdom. My name is Diane. Thank you for coming by. I really appreciate it. Last couple of days, I've been feeling kind of down and ugh, but I think it has to do with the weather. It's been cold and rainy, and I don't know, maybe something with COVID too. I felt like because I had that, and I think it makes you tired. Sometimes you get a little bit of a relapse, so I think maybe that's it. But I'm feeling great, so things are good now. So I thought I would jump into a couple things that I've been curious about. I had a question about Alito's, Justice Alito's Stop the Steal flag thing on his lawn. And I wanted to really see who's at fault with that. He says it was his wife. We'll see. And I also wanted to, there's been rumors about, I know this is kind of a funny thing, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, there's some rumors saying, his engagement is right soon. It's going to happen really soon. I wanted to see where that was at. In the past, I thought of her as kind of like the sun, and he was orbiting around the sun. It's a little different now. And I looked into Kate's health. Good news there. I'll let you know about that. And that video, I'm not laughing because it's just horrific, but P Diddy or Sean Diddy Combs, he was caught on camera from a 2016 hotel camera abusing his girlfriend at the time. Yeah, it was terrible. But I went into that energy, and I'm going to tell you what I felt and saw about him then and now. A couple little things. And I've read on that before. I read on him before. So similar stuff, but a little different. And yeah, it's very interesting. And I will get started. So thank you again for all my new subscribers, my likes, my comments. I love it. And then you guys giving me questions is really great. So, all right, let's get started. And today I decided I have all my labradorite. This is labradorite ring, my necklace, and my earrings. So I'm channeling, I'm zooming in on the energy of the universe. I just thought it would help. And actually it kind of did. Those Moki balls the other day, I showed a picture on my community page. They're little pieces of stone, but they're made out of the rocks. They're in the southern western United States. I know it seems kind of weird. So this is the female one, and this is the male one. It looks more like an acorn, the male one does. And then you hold them in your hands when you're meditating, and it can channel. They're called shaman stones, Moki balls, different things. And I think that male goes in your right hand, the female goes in your left. But it was fascinating what I got out of it. It wasn't about today's reading, but some other things, personal stuff for me. So, the energy, I think it's red iron oxide mixed, with the actual sand and stone of the land down there. So, yeah, very interesting. Okay, I'm going to start with Justice Alito and the Stop the Steal flag controversy. When I went into his energy, I've done this before with all the different Supreme Court justices, and for him, I felt like the law is very important. But when I meditated on him, I immediately saw his papers in front of him, but I saw him gathering them. Like he had a lot spread out, and he was trying to pull them all together in a pile. And I think that signified tidying up his life because it's gotten messy. And because of this particular situation with the flag, and he's trying to be more thoughtful, conservative in his living his daily life, because I think it got a little loosey-goosey. I asked him about that. Was it him? And he said no. He said it was his wife or even someone else. I also felt like and Donald Trump does this, he keeps a couple degrees of separation from certain questionable acts that could be criminal. So he has one or two people between him and those acts. It's kind of a mob mentality, a mafia mentality. So they can't really pin it on you because they did it, not I, and they can't prove that, I told him to do it. It's that kind of idea. So Alito, I got that same vibe from him. And I think it could just be because he's separating himself from his wife. Like, that was them. Maybe I think the neighbor had put something in their yard, and she was putting that flag up in response to that stake in her or his yard, whoever it is. So it was like a neighbor conflict. But I asked, can you still be focused on the law and not be using your own personal opinions when you're making your choices or your opinions as a Supreme Court justice? And he was saying, oh, yes, I can. But he does, when I saw the law in front of him, I saw he pulled out things that he wanted. He was like cherry picking things that would agree with his belief system. It wasn't a blanket view of the law, and I think this is the general terms for the law. It's very personal for him, even though he's using the law and he studies it deeply and he knows it, but he's cherry picking to get where he wants. And I said to him, because I'm kind of channeling him in a way, I said, well, why would you do this if you're going to ruin our three-branch system of democracy if people can't trust the judicial branch? And he said, well, if in the whole millennia over time, democracies have come and go, and he almost said, it's up to us, like the small people, to deal with it. He's doing his part, but it's a very elitist kind of mentality. That's the feeling I got. Very elitist. Like, I know the law. I studied history. I know how this goes. Basically, you guys have to figure it out on yourself. I'm doing this part. He's not doing it to protect democracy as much as he's doing it to further his beliefs to a degree. I'm not saying he's not following the law, but he's very good at cherry picking. So he's rationalizing quite a bit. But I didn't ask about if he will get any repercussions or will he get removed or anything. Page of Wands. I think people are talking about it. There's a magnifying glass on him looking, okay, what are you doing? And the Hermit. So this is the feeling I got where he's like, all right, I'm going to pull my papers together. I'm going to sit quietly. It's like an animal when you don't want to be seen. That's the feeling I got. He's like, all right, I'm just going to stand here. I didn't do anything. That was out of my hands. I'm just going to stand here with my papers and not get messy about life and just do what I need to do. Yeah, I don't think he's not going to go anywhere. Nope. Now, the famous Taylor and Travis couple. I had looked, like I said, at them before, and I felt, no, I didn't think, this was several months ago. And I felt like, no, they're not going to get married at that time. But time is a funny thing, and people have free will, and moods change. But I looked at their relationship from her perspective. I got in her body at him, how she felt towards him. And she's actually considering it, but it's very tentative. It's very careful and cautious. But I think she might be in. I think she's really considering it, which is good. I mean, if whatever makes him happy, I'm not mad about it. I don't care. I don't love them. I mean, I love that people want to make money and they do it in a healthy way or whatever. It's just, sometimes I feel like people take advantage. Well, I know sometimes people take advantage of all the hype and, well, whatever. It's life. It's humans. Anyway, when I got into his energy, this was the interesting thing. So I'm in his, first I saw her looking at him, and she loves him and she feels good. And I get this sense of commitment. So that made me think, yeah, possibly marriage. So then when I get into his energy and I'm looking at her, and he thinks she's beautiful, but then there's all these other girls around her, and he's distracted by all these other women. So I found that interesting, because if he has Taylor Swift, I don't know how she is in private, but I guess she's a really nice person. he seems distracted by all these other women. So I don't know if he's ADD or he's one of these guys that needs to always have somebody new. I don't know, but that's the thing I got. I think it's quite possible they could get married at this point. It wouldn't be anytime soon. It wouldn't be like a elopement. But it is possible. But I don't know if it would be. Oh, the World, 5 of Cups, 7 of Pentacles. I think they have everything right now. And everything feels great. But there might be some hiccups. And then, according to these, some hiccups in the near future. Something happening fast. Some big changes that could happen fast. Yeah. Doesn't, on the cards here, it doesn't feel great. But that's just what these cards say. I thought I found him, and I never thought that before. It's not like I think of it as a, a player or anything, but that was weird, huh? All right, let's move on to Kate's health and P Diddy. But before I do, I just wanted to share something with you real quick. I was sitting in my kind of poopy state, for state of kind of lethargy, or, woe is me. I don't know what I was doing. But I started journaling, as I do. I journal almost every day. But I was trying to really help myself understand my goals for this channel. And I just wanted to share with you what came to mind. I talk about raising vibration. I want to bring light into the world, be authentic, and share with you visions that make you feel at ease. But the image I got was, I don't know if any of you have made a mousse before, where you start off and you have to melt the chocolate and you mix it, and it's kind of heavy. I don't know. Add the egg whites or the whipped cream to it, and it's very fluffy. So it's almost like you take this very dense chocolate mixture and you fold in the whipped cream to lighten it up. That was the image I got. I felt like my job is to take some of the heavy stuff. It doesn't mean we have to ignore it, but I want to take some of that heavy stuff and lighten it a little bit. Maybe look at some of the positive angles if possible, if there is any. And it was a good metaphor for what I'm thinking. I think I've made mousse once in my life, so pardon my description, but that's the feeling I got. So lighten things up, and plus chocolate mousse is pretty yummy as well. All right. So, and then before I forget, if you don't mind subscribing, that would be great, or share with somebody if they want to subscribe or like and all that. Comment, give me questions. So the next little item I was going to look into was Kate's health. It was really good because in the past I saw her as that sheet of pink fondant just laying there, not vertical, just not well, very thin, just not moving. And then eventually that big tree grew over her and the roots came under her. And last time I looked into her health, I felt like they were giving her lots of vitamins or supplements or changing her diet or some sort of treatment or therapy to invigorate her health. Maybe because of the chemo, she got depleted of a bunch of different vitamins and things. But whatever they've done, fondant is gone, just ladies and gentlemen. Fondant is gone. And she's a lovely little cake. It's a white cake, very specifically white. The white, and I think it's a whipped cream frosting. It's not buttercream. And it's small. It's like this, like a little cake you would have. Maybe they'd have mini cakes that might get at a wedding or something. And it has a little tiny fluted edge on the top and on the bottom. No decorations beyond that. But it's solid and it's vertical and it's good. And it feels good. And I don't even know what kind of cake is inside. Maybe white cake. I don't know. Or yellow. But it was good and solid. And it felt healthy, fresh, good. So that made me feel so much better. I see her as doing that. And I asked my guides about what is she coming out? She will be coming out soon, but like I said, time is a funny thing. I did see her as of the children around her, and she was like at the center of a merry-go-round, and they were kind of hovering around her, and like, you know how you like play games holding hands around some another child or whatever. So that's the feeling I got. So it was a wonderful feeling. I also felt like this situation has brought her and Prince William closer. And I think he feels stronger and stronger to protect her and his family. He has so much on his shoulders, but I feel like he's really came close to, not losing her necessarily, but the mortality, they all looked at it in the face, and it's scary. I also felt like she learned between all of this that she's learning how to take better care of herself. She realized she wasn't doing it before. And I think it's about foods, diet, and maybe because of this surgery, she's going to eat different. Maybe that's it too. That's the feeling I got. And then I also got this welling up of a sense of anger and grit and determination that because her energy is returning. So that's also the feeling I get. But it's also like, really the first thing I got is anger, but I think it's anger at the situation because her energy is returning. The anger and at not letting this happen again kind of thing. She's going to fight. That was a really good feeling too. Courage too. And I felt like she was going to have a lot more courage and strength as she moves forward, protecting herself. Maybe she will do less events, less appearances. But yeah, I felt really good. I felt like she was going to feel better. Why do I keep doing this? I'm turning them upside down. Okay. Yeah, there's still some sadness and still some grief about it, and she's by herself trying to figure it out. And maybe the anger is an outcropping of the fear and the grief that this came, because that's obviously, once you get over the shock and everything, and then you kind of get angry because you think it's gonna, she's taking life into her own hands, and she's gonna be strong. I got the Magician, which gives her all these opportunities and tools where she's gonna do what she has to do for herself and her family, obviously, and she has all the tools at this point. And the King of Cups, this is usually a man or a leader, water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. But I just look at this and I see her as a mountain, like in that boat in her hands is taking charge. And she's got the octopus. Yeah. And she's leaving hardship and she's moving on. She's going to calmer waters. It's a peaceful place. So that's awesome. Yes. Good news there. All right. Last but not least, Mr. Combs, Sean John, P Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever you want to call him. A horrible video on him. Now, in the past, those of you who may have not seen it, I can put the link in the description box. I did a video just on him and all the stuff that came up. I think Beyonce and 50 Cent and Tupak and Jay-Z, all of them rolled into my mind. They went one after the other about past lives and what they were learning in this life. And Sean, or P Diddy, and I saw his life as Genghis Khan, believe it or not. And so in this particular life, he feels as if he can do anything he wants and take whoever he wants, have sex with whoever he wants. I think Genghis Khan had hundreds of kids. Anyway, I felt that way again. Now, at this point, I ask him, I'm looking at that video in my mind's eye, and he's saying, well, that was then. This is now. Things are different now. But I still felt like he was apologetic, yet not 100%. Not because he didn't think that was wrong, but I think he would revert to his old mindset. Maybe I'm thinking he's going to protect himself better and be careful, more careful. I don't think he'll be as extreme as he was as when he was younger, because testosterone, it's not as high as when you're older versus when you're younger. Plus, maybe he will mitigate or soften his actions after all this happens and he goes to jail, because he probably will. And then I think he said he's embarrassed and he apologizes, but he's not completely, like I said, 100% apologetic. He just says, that was then. This is now. I'm different now. And that's the feeling I got. And he said she was taking my shit. And I thought, when I saw the video, I thought, oh, it looks like she has this duffel bag. I thought, oh, it's probably money or something in there. I didn't know unless it's her clothes. But first thing I got was like an award or a trophy or a plaque or something she had grabbed, something personal for him. And she had that in there. And that was part of that deal. Not that he wouldn't have done that either way, but she took that. And I always felt like she came from a family with violence or abuse. And I also saw that she didn't think she'd get away with it. She didn't think she would. She wanted to, but I think part of her thought, he's going to catch me, but I'm going to do it anyway. I got that feeling because she knew what he would do. Sad, but true. I think that's what happened. Even if she got out of the building, I think she knew he would find her. And in the past video where I looked into Tupak and he was very chatty when I spoke to him about his situation back then, and he wants us all to live in peace and let go of his death now that there's people that have been charged and it's getting cleared up. He doesn't want anybody to hold on to it anymore. He says it doesn't help anything anymore. But he was one that helped get that video out. I don't know how, if somebody, maybe they had it in a file somewhere and they always had it, but I feel like he said that he encouraged somebody to look at it or to show it or to get it out there, because he feels, and I know the rumor is P Diddy had something to do with, he didn't pull the trigger, but he had something to do with Tupac's death. So I think it was a little payback, but I don't know. That's my feeling. So anyway, with that lovely little image, till next time.